Rob Dillingham is the next guy on the board. I'm going San Antonio here for him. I think if I'm Dillingham, this is the perfect fit for me because I could shoot the snot out of the ball. I'm a good playmaker. I could dribble anywhere and get anywhere I want on the court. And I could be an offensive fulcrum unto myself. And all I need is two things. I need a pick and roll lob threat. And I need somebody to be able to cover up for all my deficiencies defensively. And in San Antonio, you got that in spades in Victor Wembanyama. This is not a hard decision for me. If I'm Rob Dillingham, I want San Antonio.
He is another one in this class where, you see Lou Williams comparisons. You just look at the fact that obviously he's 6'1" and very, very scrawny and only a 6'3" wingspan. He could just bust here, right? I mean, yep. and so there's really not a place that I feel like, well, he won't bust if he goes there because it really just is about how much can he maximize what he's good at to just carve out a career for himself. So I like the idea of a little bit more of a patient, stable organization for a player like that in general, rather than a Charlotte or a Detroit or a Washington or even Chicago, where they just are always kind of in some various stage of being a mess, So I like that, but man, he's going to have to... Like, I think of James Bouknight a little bit the same way. He went to Charlotte a few years ago and just kind of one of those gunner bench microwave scorer guards. And it's like he didn't play with, high-level decision-making on either end. He was really small, and he was out of the league by the end of his rookie contract. Yeah. So
the problem with these
tough
small
for guys like that.
When you're small, you have to be an elite shot maker or playmaker, right? You have to be absolutely elite at those things. And if you're not... I mean, for every Tyrese Maxey, there's a James Bouknight. For every Tyrese Maxey, there's a Bones Highland. There's so little margin for error. The smaller you are, the thinner your margin for error is. And so, with Dillingham, it could be really difficult.
Maxey was a freak athlete. He plays with force. Those aren't really things that Dillingham has. So.
The thing that I like about Dillingham is I think he's the best ball handler in the class. The guy, like I said, he can get anywhere he wants on the court. I think that'll translate. I don't know, does he have all-star potential or does he have sixth man of the year potential? And, is he Malik Monk or is he De'Aaron Fox? I don't really know. But yeah, if I'm picking him, or if I'm him and I'm picking my landing spot, I'm going to San Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, Monk's a great name to throw out there. I mean, he just, obviously signed that extension, but his real leap came, okay, yes, had to become more comfortable and confident and consistent from three, but becoming a legitimate passer, somebody that you can run offense through for others, is what took Monk from being, a mid-level minimum, what is he going to be in the league, what team he's going to be on kind of guy, to somebody that is getting a real extension and a team's making commitment to. So maybe it's passing. Maybe that's part of his growth, and that's how Maxey's kind of developed. We should mention too,
this guy might not get taken in the lottery. Like, there are some reports of him potentially falling, but just according to ESPN's big board, he was up next. So,
all right, next up, number 9, Tidjane Salaün. Wes, I'm gonna make an executive decision here. I'm trading myself down to 10 because I don't know enough about this guy to pick a spot for him, so I'm passing him to you. And I'm going to go with Nikola Topic, who is number 10 on Gavoni's board. We can negotiate what's going each way on that trade that I just made up. But
right, so if we're trading players and not picks, I want Zach Edey coming back or something. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, perfect. We'll top off the Sunday here with a little bit of Edey talk, and you can pick where he goes. That'll be some extra content for you to feel good about. Okay, Topic. So Nikola Topic, we've had Zach Cohen on of Real GM the past few weeks heading into the draft, and Topic is his guy. He obviously has this knee injury that is keeping him out, and I've seen people, reference it as kind of like treat it as if maybe he won't play this whole season and then be happy if he does, and you can get something out of it. But to me, it's like a lot of these teams here in the lottery, why do I care if he's going to be gone for a year, Mm-hmm. Next draft's great. A lot of these teams are tanking and rebuilding. I know not everybody has the stomach for getting 0 from their lottery pick, but a lot of teams, frankly, should be able to handle that. So where I'm going to go here, I think I'm going to go with the Thunder.
Wow. Okay.
Did I take it? I took them. I know that's kind of That's well. Hold on. Let me double check the possibilities.
It makes a lot of sense.
We have Atlanta left,
though. Yeah.
We have Atlanta left. We have Houston still on the board?
Correct.
We have another Portland.
Yep.
Detroit.
Yep.
And then Oklahoma City.
And I think we still have Charlotte and Chicago.
Well, I use Chicago for
You did use
Connect.
Chicago, and they only have the one pick. Okay.
And
right.
Charlotte, you just used for Castle. Or no, we were talking about him for Castle. You didn't use him for
Washington.
Castle.
Washington is Castle.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm honestly even going through it again. I'm gonna stick with Oklahoma City. I mean, they brought Vasilija Micic last year, right? We know that at the end of games, a lot of their issue was the paint would get clogged if they couldn't put enough shooting out there, and teams were playing off of Holmgren and some of their other guys, despite the percentages looking good. And they got Caruso. That doesn't really address that issue. They have the patience because they're already a very good team to have Topic just recover, maybe go play some G League games. They use that program a lot and get some reps there. And then, even if the season after that he's still not a contributor at a high level, maybe he's somebody who is just kind of in their back pocket as they figure out what the rest of this roster is going to look like when it gets more expensive. So they need another creator. They need another kind of pick and roll orchestrator who can create a shot, and he's that. So I'm going to stick with it.
I really like it. I was a little worried about it at first because it was like, didn't we just do this with Josh Giddey? But I think Topic is a little bit more skilled in terms of getting to the rim and things like that.
Yeah.
But they're similar size, similar sort of pass over the top height and vision stuff, similar issues defensively. But to your point earlier, if you're a lottery team and you could take Topic and just say, you know what, we're trying to be bad anyway and we're really gunning for the 2025 draft, then it does kind of make sense to get a guy who's on a redshirt year that doesn't risk making your team better than what you want to be. But the other side of that is Oklahoma City, where you don't even need him because you're already really good. So it's just sort of like this bonus guy that you can have a year or two from now. You're absolutely right. They need another creator. There's a world where he develops into a pick and roll orchestrator and could even play with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They don't really have a backup point guard on the roster that they trust and they feel great about. Can he become that? They like guys with size, with good feel, with ball handling. He checks a lot of the Oklahoma City boxes that they usually are trying to check. And if you're him and you're picking the team, then you do want somewhere that is a stable organization that you trust, that could be patient with you as you come back from this injury, that might not need you right away. I guess the downside would be, well, eventually I want to run my own team, and that's probably never going to happen in Oklahoma City. But I don't know. I think it's a good pick considering everybody else that's on the board, because like Utah can make some sense for him, but they're off the board, right? Like and between all the teams out there, Oklahoma City is the one that makes the most sense. So I like it.
He's gotten mocked to the Jazz quite a bit, so maybe that's what ends up happening on draft night. But as far as the Giddey comp, I also feel like, at least at this moment, having just played professionally overseas and not yet in any NBA time, it maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like people evaluate his likelihood to be able to shoot at the NBA level a little bit ahead of where Giddey was. He has this weird thing where, he has the ball, so some of his threes are off the bounce, but he also, his percentages have kind of fluctuated year by year, but his free throw percentage is like beyond elite. He's shooting like close to 90% from the free throw line, which is always a good indicator for three-point success over time. So, I'm not going to pretend I've watched him a ton to have a good, intricate scouting report on like if he's going to shoot threes, but it feels a little more likely than it was with Giddey, where even with Giddey back then, it kind of felt like it's probably not going to happen. Like there was almost no chance of it, whereas with Topic, you could see it coming.
And we act here like Josh Giddey wasn't a helpful player for Oklahoma City for the first 3 years of his career. He was a really helpful player for this team. He was part of one of the best starting fives in the league. The problem with Giddey in Oklahoma City was eventually he got played off the floor in the playoffs, sure, but also he's up for an extension. And they don't want to pay him what he's going to cost. I think they were fine paying him what he did cost. I don't think that they regret that pick even a little bit. So it's almost like in the NFL where the running back kind of gets priced out and then you let him go and then you draft a new running back. That's kind of what Oklahoma City would be doing here with Topic is, all right, we this worked with Giddey and we don't need him anymore. We don't want to pay him, but we can get another Giddey on a rookie scale salary. And I'm with you. The comparisons are not one for one, but like I'm just saying, if we even go down that path,
Yeah.
there are some of the same limitations to both of their games too. But I think this guy could really help them, and so I have no problem with the pick.